Sarah Ray cried until I wondered how one small head could contain all the tears she shed. But I do not believe she was half as much frightened as disappointed that she had no white dress. In mid-afternoon, Cecily came downstairs with her forget-me-not jug in her hand, a dainty bit of china, wreathed with dark blue forget-me-nots, which Cecily prized highly, and in which she always kept her toothbrush. "Sarah, I am going to give you this jug," she said solemnly. Now, Sarah had always coveted this particular jug. She stopped crying long enough to clutch it delightedly. "Oh, Cecily, thank you! But are you sure you won't want it back if tomorrow isn't the Judgment Day?" "No, it's yours for good," said Cecily, with a high, remote air of one to whom forget-me-not jugs and all such pomps and vanities of the world were as a tale that is told. "Are you going to give anyone your cherry vase?" asked Felicity, trying to speak indifferently. Felicity had never admired the forget-me-not jug, but she had always hankered after the cherry vase, an affair of white glass with a cluster of red glass cherries and golden-green glass leaves on its side, which Aunt Olivia had given Cecily one Christmas. "No, I'm not," answered Cecily with a change of tone. "Oh, well, I don't care," said Felicity quickly. "Only, if tomorrow is the last day, the cherry vase won't be much use to you." "I guess it will be as much use to me as to anyone else," said Cecily indignantly. She had sacrificed her dear forget-me-not jug to satisfy some pang of conscience or propitiate some threatening fate, but surrender her precious cherry vase she could not and would not. Felicity needn't be giving any hints. With the gathering shades of night, our plight became pitiful. In the daylight, surrounded by homely, familiar sights and sounds, it was not so difficult to fortify our souls with a cheering incredulity. But now, in this time of shadows, dread belief clutched us and wrung us with terror. If there had been one wise, older friend to tell us, in serious fashion, that we need not be afraid, that the Enterprise paragraph was not save the idle report of a deluded fanatic, it would have been well for us, but there was not. Our grown-ups, instead, considered our terror an exquisite jest. At that very moment, Aunt Olivia, who had recovered from her headache, and Aunt Janet were laughing in the kitchen over the state the children were in because they were afraid the end of the world was close at hand. Aunt Janet's throaty gurgle and Aunt Olivia's trilling mirth floated out through the open window. "Perhaps they'll laugh on the other side of their faces tomorrow," said Dan, with gloomy satisfaction. We were sitting on the cellar hatch, watching what might be our last sunset o'er the dark hills of time. Peter was with us. It was his last Sunday to go home, but he had elected to remain. "If tomorrow is the Judgment Day, I want to be with you fellows," he said. Sarah Ray had also yearned to stay, but could not because her mother had told her she must be home before dark. "Never mind, Sarah," comforted Cecily. "It's not to be till 2 o'clock tomorrow, so you'll have plenty of time to get up here before anything happens." "But there might be a mistake," sobbed Sarah. "It might be 2 o'clock tonight instead of tomorrow." It might indeed. This was a new horror which had not occurred to us. "I'm sure I won't sleep a wink tonight," said Felix. "The paper says 2 o'clock tomorrow," said Dan. "You needn't worry, Sarah." But Sarah departed, weeping. She did not, however, forget to carry the forget-me-not jug with her. All things considered, her departure was a relief. Such a constantly tearful damsel was not a pleasant companion. Cecily and Felicity and the Story Girl did not cry. They were made of finer, firmer stuff. Dry-eyed, with such courage as they might, they faced whatever might be in store for them. "I wonder where we'll all be this time tomorrow night," said Felix mournfully, as we watched the sunset between the dark fir boughs. It was an ominous sunset. The sun dropped down amid dark, livid clouds that turned sullen shades of purple and fiery red behind him. "I hope we'll be all together wherever we are," said Cecily gently. "Nothing can be so very bad then." "I'm going to read the Bible all tomorrow forenoon," said Peter. When Aunt Olivia came out to go home, the Story Girl asked her permission to stay all night with Felicity and Cecily. Aunt Olivia assented lightly, swinging her hat on her arm and including us all in a friendly smile. She looked very pretty, with her big blue eyes and warm-hued golden hair. We loved Aunt Olivia, but just now we resented her having laughed at us with Aunt Janet, and we refused to smile back. "What a sulky, sulky lot of little people," said Aunt Olivia, going away across the yard, holding her pretty dress up from the dewy grass. Peter resolved to stay all night with us too, not troubling himself about anybody's permission. When we went to bed, it was settling down for a stormy night, and the rain was streaming wetly on the roof, as if the world, like Sarah Ray, were weeping because its end was so near. Nobody forgot or hurried over his prayers that night. We would dearly have loved to leave the candle burning, but Aunt Janet's decree regarding this was as inexorable as any of Mede and Persia. Out the candle must go, and we lay there, quaking, with the wild rain streaming down on the roof above us, and the voices of the storm wailing through the writhing spruce trees.